xAI has been acquired by SpaceX. They are now one company. I believe xAI is all of the Grok stuff, and they also own the X.com platform. So now SpaceX covers all of Twitter/X and Grok and all of the data center stuff they're doing there. I think also MacroHard is under xAI as well. And it's pretty interesting. They have a whole blog post that goes into it. They talk about how essentially the future of SpaceX is launching space data centers where they can use electricity from solar power, I guess, and satellites to do compute remotely, so running in space and I guess transmitting back via high frequency radio or some other method of communication. But I don't think they'll be transmitting the power back. It'll just be information and they'll be doing all the compute remotely. And I'm sure there's some built-in latency with light speed and all of that that'll be accounted for. But I guess in like near Earth orbit, it's probably not that bad. But they do plan to launch beyond the moon as well. They said even landing on the moon and doing some compute there is what they're looking forward to. And it's a pretty interesting post for sure. And they go into a lot of the details as well of what they're planning to do. It doesn't really speak to how connected the X and the SpaceX piece are together, but obviously they're both Elon's companies and he's trying to build this greater company as well. Now we'll have to see if they can roll in Tesla as well to just have a single company. And then on the same story, we also have a tweet from Chung Fan just showing a timeline as well of Twitter being acquired and being moved into X, and then xAI raising a bunch of money, being worth 50 bill in December 2024. I remember that when that was announced. Then they acquired X in the all-stock deal, and then they raised 5 billion at 136 and raised 20 billion at 230. And now there is an assumed IPO that might be happening in the middle of this year. I think Anduril is also kind of on the block potentially this year for an IPO. So that's very fascinating. Obviously, all of the IPOs like kind of pop up and then go quite down, like Figma and all of those. And so yeah, kind of a cool little timeline here, and it's really cool how you can start these companies. If you have the right team, you have the right funding, you can just move super quick. And I wouldn't say I use Grok myself frequently. You know, I do use it to like analyze tweets by just pressing the button, but it does seem to be a pretty capable video and language model apparently by the benchmarks. So that is pretty impressive that they can pull that off, you know, after Elon invests or like donates to OpenAI and then gets scammed essentially out of the company, that he can just recreate a competitor like that is pretty impressive. And then one more tweet on that story as well is from this guy, Dylan Patel. I don't know what company he works for, but saying that Google now owns more than 10% of Anthropic and xAI, and that Google owns 7.5% of SpaceX here in the community note. So that's pretty cool as well. Google always staying ahead of the game. We'll have another story about Google on this episode as well, but they're just always winning and eating on every investment in Google Ventures and all that, just always winning. And now they're really hyped up on the LLM space. They haven't really launched anything. Like anti-gravity was their IDE that they launched, and you know, it kind of